I'm really sorry to have to be the one to tell you this. We're messing it up. We're getting it wrong. And I think that we really need to talk about it. Welcome back to Making Everyday Magic. My name is Shanna. If you're new here, hey, hi, how are you? We are a homeschool family of 4. We're in our 9th year of homeschooling and our 15th year of parenting. And today I want to talk to you about pacifier parenting and how it's not the kids. Before we go any further, please scroll down, hit the big red subscribe button, turn on that bell for notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. As always, you can find me right on down in the comments or over on Instagram at Making Everyday Magic. So, I try to share with you the observations that I am making in our homeschool, in our parenting, in the real world, in real life. And as you guys know, recently we took a Disney cruise earlier this year. And it was on that cruise that I had some glaring, shocking, unnerving, unsettling realizations about what is happening in the parental sphere. And I think that it is time that we talk about it, okay? First and foremost, let me tell you, I am not anti-child. Genuinely am not. I am not anti-gentle parenting. A lot of people right now are like, oh, gentle parenting is a problem. And it's not. I'm going to tell you what it is in just a minute. But I think gentle parenting, just like unschooling, when done well and with standards and boundaries, is wildly successful for many people. I am somebody who, I don't think I am a strict parent, but I have been met with many people who think I am a strict parent in my real life. And I think that just comes down to my personality type is 1, intense. I know you guys are shocked to hear me say that out loud, but I just am firm. There are things we will accept. There are things we will not accept. And as you guys know, if you have been my friend here for a while, I say the thing. So I don't tend to let things slide unspoken. And so I get, some pushback on that from folks in my real life, but I can tell you that I feel like my kids can go into the world. I also am not going to be the person who comes here and tells you that the world isn't made for kids. I have some observations on that in a minute. Now, you guys know, again, if you've been here for any amount of time, we pride ourselves on taking our kids and going out. We pride ourselves on the things that we do with our children, okay? So we have spent so many days, weeks, months at Disney parks and in theme parks and at parks and aquariums and zoos and all of the child-focused places, because that is something that we enjoy as a family. It's something that my husband and I did before we even had kids. So those spheres, they fit right into those, and it was wonderful, okay? But I also am someone who has taken a toddler to the Louvre, and I can tell you, it was a great experience. Nobody around us was impacted by that. So I feel like I have quite a bit of observation at minimum to offer on this topic. Let me tell you that what I am seeing is wild behavior by children that is not even being curbed in any way. I am not here to tell you that you can control your child's behavior. I do not believe that in the slightest. I do not believe you can control your child's behavior. And if a child is behaving a certain way, I am honestly very quick to assume that there is part of a story that we don't know, because in most situations, there is part of a story that you don't know. I struggle when I observe parents who aren't trying to curb a behavior or redirect energy or any of the things that honestly is expected in society. So I don't believe that the world is not made for children. I don't believe that the world is increasingly icing children out. what I do think is happening, and here we come to the crux of the video, the whole point of why I'm sharing this and what my observations, again, on that Disney cruise that we recently took led me to. Again, I am used to a Disney environment, loud, wild, lights, children, toddlers. I've taken my own. I have breastfed in line and on and off the Finding Nemo ride. I know what it's like to take children, young children, before they can really comprehend proper actions out into the world in all kinds of scenarios. Theaters, classrooms, all kinds of scenarios. And I can tell you, this is what I saw, and this is what the problem is. Again, this was maybe just the most glaring example of putting all the pieces together where I was like, oh, a light bulb went off above my head and I know what is happening. It is what I'm going to call pacifier parenting. Now, you first might think, oh, Shanna, but that just means that the parents are pacifying the children. No, that is not what I mean. What I mean is that the parents want to be pacified. So what I am seeing, what I feel like is happening, what I saw firsthand, constantly on this cruise. And again, it's like a capsule with a bunch of people in intense situations. Everybody's tired, vacation gets wild, and it was very concentrated. And maybe it's now that I'm not distracted with my own littles, having the chance to kind of look up and look around, seeing what is happening. What is happening is that parents don't want to deal with their children. Parents are not putting in the effort to make their children understand how to be part of society. Parents are not doing the thankless, terrible, garbage work of keeping parameters on their kids consistently. What I am seeing happening is that parents are so much more concerned with this and their own temporary fixed dopamine hits, their own 10 a.m. beer at the zoo. They are so obsessed with their own comfort, boundaries, stimulation, whatever it is, that they are doing whatever it takes to just keep their kids out of their hair. Because it's not that they're keeping their kids quiet. I don't think we'd notice if they were keeping their kids quiet. I don't think we would notice if the kids were being placated to a point that they sat quietly in the corner. What is happening is that parents, in an effort to pacify themselves and not have to deal with what is happening, is giving their kids every little thing that they could possibly want, but simultaneously, as long as what they're doing is over there and not impacting my relationship with the screen or my relationship with my drink or my relationship talking to whoever I'm talking to right now, it doesn't matter. Until, and this is the part that blows my mind, until we have crossed an invisible boundary, a threshold that no one knew was there because the kids certainly didn't. And then that parent, who at this point is probably overstimulated and insane because whatever they wanted to do, whatever they were trying to achieve, their goal, this means to an end to get whatever it is they wanted to pacify themselves, is interrupted to a point that they cannot sustain what they were doing. And then they lash out to a level that is genuinely alarming in public, at dinner, at tables. Just examples of some of the things that I see and have seen. So the parents are not taking the steps, the incremental steps, to fend off that bad behavior early because they are not properly observing or engaging with their children. So the children are honestly left to their own devices, sometimes literally devices, and then at some point the parent snaps in a situation no one could have foreseen because there has been no parameter set. There's been no consistency. No one knew what the expectation was, what the plans were. The parent snaps and lashes out at the child. I saw on this cruise, group, just massive table, like 12 people, this long rectangular table. All of the adults, okay, so all of the kids were 5 or under. All of the adults were sat on one end of the table so they could have their conversation. And every one of the children was left at the other end. which was the children. We were in like a show, like a dinner show. If you've ever been on a cruise ship, the ceilings are about here, and I'm a short lady. People are walking through with trays that defy physics with the amount of things on them, and they're moving and they're grooving and they're in and out. This also was a dinner restaurant show. So there are actors and people up and down the things, and they're singing and music, and so much is happening. These children were not on the inside edge of the table against the wall. No, they were not confined, put into a smaller space where even if they got up, they weren't literally endangering the people around them. They were left on the end toward the walkway. Then these children, because they are under 5 and being ignored and left Lord of the Flies style to their own devices, get up, are walking around to each other. They're carrying foods and drinks around. They're laying in the tiny walk space. Because if you've been on a cruise, you know that they will put a table elbow to elbow with the next table. There is no space for this. There is no space for laying in the walkway. The children are laying in the walkway, and the parents are continuing unobstructed, enjoying their meal. Everyone around them's meal is being impacted. These people's job is being impacted. The show is being impacted by what is happening on the other end of the table, and they don't even glance over until something happens, something crashes, one of the kids cries, and then, and only then, snatched up, taken to the bathroom, and punished. How in the ever-loving world did you expect this to go any way but what it went? If you never, not once, tried to put in an effort to curb, to teach. I do not believe that society is not made for children. I believe the children we're making are not made for society, and I said it, and I am not sad to say it again. That is what I am seeing. That is exactly what I am seeing. Not only that, I do think the current school model breeds this into children. They have them sit unexpectedly long times, that their sit muscles, their quiet muscles are just run out. But I also believe that by allowing children this inconsistent expectation of reasonable behavior, we then send them into classrooms where they act a fool. And it's not the teacher's job to teach your children how to human. That is your job. And we're failing so hard. And we're failing so hard because society has put this expectation on us that we have to have our eyes on our children at all times, and that is not the case. But we do have an obligation to teach them how to be okay when we don't have our eyes on them. We're failing. We're failing as a society. This isn't okay. It is not okay that you prioritize your tiny pocket screen over the good of your child. Is consistency hard? Yes, it sucks so bad. It's really hard to do. It is an effort and so many muscles you didn't know you needed to work. But we're ruining our kids by trying to placate ourselves. And it's disgusting. And I'm hating what I'm seeing. It is making it hard to find children out in the real world that my kids even want to be around because they act so badly. But the saddest part of it is it's not their fault. It's ours. We are not doing our job as parents, as fellow members of society, to let kids know where the line is before we freak out and yell at them or scare them or hit them, for God's sakes. You cannot do this anymore. We cannot do this. We are raising kids who are entitled to every single little thing. We are raising kids who don't share. We are raising kids who don't know how to communicate with each other, with adults, with the world, because they are being taught all of the worst lessons from our behavior. It's really sad. And I really hope that somehow, somewhere along the way, we figure out how to right this ship. And again, I'm not saying you can control your kids' behavior. You absolutely cannot. But no one seems to be trying. And that is leading to really, really crazy results. I don't know. I don't know what I am hoping to gain from sharing this. I just feel like, as somebody who had this observation and made this realization, it's my obligation to come here and say the thing out loud. I hope that you found this helpful, entertaining, or informative. If you did, please scroll down. Please hit the big red subscribe button. Please find me down in the comments or over on Instagram. I really genuinely come here because not only do I want to make every of our days magic, I want to share ways that that's happening so that we can make all of our days a little bit more magical. And one way that we can do that is through recognizing some pain points. And maybe it's self-reflection and what we are doing, what we're letting slide just for our own comfort instead of the betterment of the humans that we are raising. I've seen this play out, like I said, on vacation in children-focused areas. My kids being able to sit in a learning environment with other kids, watching kids. And again, I'm the first one to assume there is a reason, but when you see the parents like not only not trying, completely physically present and emotionally and mentally absent, and then watch them lash out with anger and rage, it's not tenable. We have to shift our ways for the betterment of all of us. Homeschool, parenting, real life, everyone. So I don't want to hear that gentle parenting is a problem. It's not. It's not gentle parenting. It's literally no parenting. I don't want to hear that society isn't made for kids. I don't believe that in even the slightest, because if that were the case, why does Europe seem to have it figured out when America doesn't? Why is that? Why do other countries seem to have this perfect balance where kids are and exist and things are built around them, and including the workday structure? You can't tell me it's that. It's us.